The energy system is managed to ensure there is sufficient electricity supply to meet demand. This is particularly important at times of peak electricity demand and requires careful planning. The intermittent nature of wind power means that estimating its availability in advance is challenging. Knowledge of the relationship between electricity demand and wind power supply is therefore very useful. Our research has focused on winter because that's when electricity demand is highest. However, even within the season there are peaks and troughs, and these are closely related to temperature, with more people using more energy demand when it is cold compared to mild. Because of the prevailing weather patterns in the UK, it is generally understood that when it's cold, it's often less windy. However, when it is warmer, we expect more wind. This means that we would expect to have higher supply during lower demand conditions and lower supply during higher demand conditions. We find that in winter, wind power supply does decrease as demand increases, but only up to a point, and then something happens that you wouldn't necessarily expect. When it gets to the very coldest days, when energy demand is at its highest, wind energy supply starts to recover. And during the highest 5% of demand days, a third of those days have wind power above the winter average. This is because the coldest days are generated by a mix of different weather patterns, some of which give high wind power in different parts of the UK. We find three key findings. Firstly, that wind power can contribute to the supply mix during periods of high electricity demand. Secondly, that a spread of turbines across the UK would maximise the wind power available. And thirdly, that offshore wind power offers a more secure supply compared to that onshore, as it is sustained at higher levels. We hope this improved understanding of how weather patterns affect the British energy system in combination with weather forecast information will help aid the daily and longer term management of this system.